But who better than me?
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Base Talks. As always, like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. And I always enjoy these ones when you get someone returning to the channel to have a chat, little catch up on previous events. And for me, the first one was a very big look for the channel and sort of in terms of eyes on the product and views or whatnot. So it was only right I was able to get my technically it's my fourth interview with Opetaia, second one on my channel, and the third one that you would have seen. Most people will know what happened with the very first one, but it's all good. But yeah, we've sort of chopped it up a little bit about, you know, sort of from December, Day of Reckoning, up to February with the first date with Briedis, moving now to what's going to happen in May. So please watch. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, leave your comments afterwards. But till then, take a look. This is Base the Kid, the hardcore casual, and I'm delighted once again to be joined by reigning Ring Magazine and lineal IBF Cruiserweight champion, Jai Opetaia. Jai, look, it's been a while, man. How's things with you, first of all?
I'm good, man. Just same shit, different day for me. Training, eat, sleep on repeat.
I hear you. I hear you. So look, we haven't spoken for a little while. So if we kind of, I guess, go back to December, just really speaking about, you had your win over Elizoro, and then you had this very quick turnaround plan to take place against Marius Briedis in the rematch for the belt, which you never lost. You had to vacate in order to take the Zorro fight. Can you just talk about how that specific situation itself came up? And, you know, for them allowing you to obviously go back in for the belt when realistically it's they might as well just let you keep it in the first place.
Honestly, man, I have no clue how the hell it has done a full 360 like this. You know what I mean? Like, they told me if I was gonna fight, they'd take the belt off me, I lose the ranking, and then I went there, handled business, and I come back, and now I'm fighting Breeders for the belt again. Like, how it's unfolded, it's weird, but it is what it is. You know, it's all worked in my favor. I've just trained hard and focused on what I've had to do, and then the rest has fallen into place.
So when something like that happens, and you've always said, look, you want to be undisputed, you want to clear out the division, you want to prove that you are the number one, that you're the best fighter in the world. But when something like that happens, does that almost make you then devalue the belts and just almost about, no, I want the opportunities now because I'm making the best fights happen anyway? Or do you still have the goal of getting all of those belts?
Definitely, man. There was those thoughts in my mind. You know, like people don't understand. I've been boxing my whole life, literally. You know what I mean? Like it's all I've ever done, and winning these world titles were everything to me. You know what I mean? Like they were like you just fight for world titles. You know what I mean? I just always knew it was going to be a part of my life, and it was just something I was so excited for. And then when they took it off me, bro, it was just so it was frustrating. Like I didn't let it get to me too much because of the way it was all handled and stuff like that. But it was weird, you know. But it did in in my heart it decreased, you know. But they're still very valuable at the same time. You know what I mean? Like they're world titles, so um, they're important. They are important. So I feel like it's weird how the whole situation sort of unfolded and went about, but it is what it is. You know, we're not going to sit here and cry about shit. We're just going to win it back.
I get you. I get you. Okay, so we get to that point now, and you're in training camp. A very quick turnaround from obviously the Zorro to the Briedis fight initially, the 17th of February, I believe it was initially. Now, I'm assuming obviously you felt good. No niggles, no injuries. You was ready to sort of get cracking and get back into things. But What was preparation like in between, obviously, that time just after Christmas, going through Day of Reckoning, etc., and then, leading up to that sort of training camp? How was things kind of going for you at that moment?
Yeah, it was good. Like this isn't. I've been training my whole life. It's just another day in the office. You know what I mean? Like we wake up, we go to the gym, and we train. Like these things aren't new to me. You know what I mean? Like even the late call ups or it's been my life since a kid. So whenever they call and say there's a fight on, will you be ready? We just straight into camp. And we always have this good base too. Like I'm not. I'm fighting on big stages now. We're very professional now. We're not letting ourselves get heavy and unfit between fights. We stay in the gym, we stay active, we have smart breaks, and we earn our breaks and we earn our rest. You know what I mean? That everything that we live through and go through, it's all earned. Like when I go away and I have a weekend off, I've earned that weekend off. It's not like I'm sitting on my ass and just doing nothing waiting for a fight. But I'm staying active. I'm still training. I'm going for long runs and shit. Like it keeps me sane. So it is what it is. Like I'm just waiting for these call ups. This period of my life, boxing is all that matters. You know what I mean? Like I got my family and stuff like that, but nothing else, no outside noise matters but my boxing at the moment and winning these fights.
I hear that. No, that makes total sense, and that's obviously a very good way to be. Um, okay, so if we look at, obviously, that date was there, you was training for that, everything was going well, and then about 5 weeks before that date, you've gone over to Saudi Arabia or to train with Tyson Fury and whatnot. Now, you've gone there, been there for about a week, and then you've gone back to Australia. Can you just basically talk me through that particular process? Because in my mind, and the reason I asked this, I'm thinking that it's a very long journey for you, obviously, from Australia to go to there and then to leave there to go back to Australia, same journey, but you've gone through about 4 or 5 different time zones and the fight's only less than a month away at the time. Like, wouldn't that sort of mess with your preparations, your internal clock? So how did that whole thing sort of come about?
Yeah, it does, but we were still 4 weeks out. You know what I mean? Like it was hard, it was difficult, and it did fuck my body up. Like going there, training for a week, adapting to that timeline, then coming home, and then adapting to this timeline again. Like my body was sore, but I love it. Like it is hard. You know what I mean? Like that's those deep waters. It's not meant to be easy. You know what I mean? And we still we pushed ourselves into these uncomfortable situations, and we still had 4 weeks out. You know what I mean? Like that jet lag doesn't last for 4 weeks, and especially the way we train and stuff, we adapt quick. Like it doesn't matter how much sleep we've had, we're still pumping out 3 sessions a day. Doesn't matter how sore we are from jet lag or stuff like that. Well, I come straight home, I pumped out a 3 session day straight away, and I was wrecked the next day. But these things make you stronger. Like that's a deposit. You know what I mean? If I can train and I can spar, like we come home, we went straight. I come home. I done. I went straight into like a 2 day, 3 day session, and then I went the next day. Like this is from flying home from Saudi. Then the next day, I sparred with Justice Huni, who's bro, if anyone knows who Justice Huni is, he's a part of Tasman Fighters, but this dude's a gun. You know what I mean? Like he's a heavyweight with the fastest hands. Like if I can do that off all this jet lag, bro, you get me at 100% going into that ring, bro. You know what I mean? Like I feel good. So we love the uncomfortableness. Like the soreness, that feeling of going, fuck, bro. Like how am I gonna even finish today? That's what we thrive off. We live in that shit. You know what I mean? Like doing the stuff that everyone else thinks, fuck, bro. Like what's he doing, bro? We chew it up. Like and that's why I'm confident going into the ring is because I push my body. Like even when I'm sore, tired, like we just keep kicking. Like and that's what we did. And even that camp, like we were fit, we were strong, we were ready. Like we adapted. The jet lag lasts for a bit, and then we fly back over and we adapt again. Like it's all good.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Because yeah, to me, it seems like that might hinder preparation, but clearly, as you said, you've got that mastered and you love that uncomfortability. So just before we sort of talk on like what's happened since then, so you obviously you was over there, you had some good rounds with Tyson Fury, I'm assuming. Ultimately, what was the kind of reason for being just there for that one period of time and then leaving so quickly?
So we done this first sparring session. Um, before we went over, we were told, like as I was heading over and stuff, we were told there was going to be other fighters there for me that were like other orthodox sparring. But when we rocked up, there was no orthodox sparring. Something happened; they couldn't make it, stuff like that. So we stayed. We tried to organise some orthodox sparring to come. We done a sparring session with Tyson Fury, which was awesome. And then we just it was just full of southpaws. Like where I was staying and in the camp that I was a part of, it was just all full of southpaws and heavyweight southpaws. And then the only orthodox was a 6'9" Tyson Fury. So it was just for my prep. Like we were sort of sat around, me and my team. We had dinner. We were trying to what's gonna be best for us and our team. You know what I mean? Like we have to be selfish here. Like we can't. Like even though I feel like I was good sparring for Fury and stuff like that, I'm also preparing for a huge fight in my career. I'm preparing for a world title fight. Like I can't make these sacrifices, for someone else when I need to focus on my own camp. So that's the only reason we went home. If we were fighting on a different card and we weren't fighting on the same date and we were fighting a couple months after where we could afford to, you know what I mean, be around and just do those rounds and stuff like that, I would have stayed there the whole camp. I would have loved to be a part of it, be surrounded in it, soak up the experience. But when you got your own prep to worry about, you have to think about what's going to benefit your prep for your fight. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, staying there at the Tyson Fury camp, where his camp was evolved around his fight. You know what I mean? Like, I was just a sparring partner, and I'm not just a fucking like I was just got called in for sparring. Like I'm got to focus on my own sparring. I need my own sparring. So that's why we left. There was no. In saying that, it was still great learning. It was great to be a part of the camp for that short time we were. It was all positive. You know, being surrounded by other world class athletes, world class trainers. See how they do things. It was all good. It was all positive.
So you just cut out there. Say that last bit again.
Yeah, we just had to come home and sort of focus on our own camp. So that's the only reason we really left.
Okay, okay. So then a few weeks later, obviously you've gone back home. You're getting prepped for your fight, and then you get the news that the fight's been postponed due to a cut that's taken place in the camp of Fury with one of his sparring partners. So how did you have to at that point, I guess, maybe manage your training or readjust, or how did you sort of manage that little process there of having to wait an extra 3 months?
Um, it's all good. Like we just sit down with the team and we reschedule and reassess. Well, we're professionals. We do this for a living. Like extra time for us to get ready for a camp, it doesn't harm us in any way. We build more, we get stronger, we get fitter. Like I'm not running out of time here. Like I'm not long in the tooth like Briedis. I'm 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 gaining. Like this time and experience. It's all positive in a way. Like obviously it's frustrating when dates and that change, but wow, I'm sweet.
Okay. So talking to Briedis, obviously you've been in the ring with him before. You, to a degree, you know what to expect. He's probably 2 years older. He hasn't been back in the ring since you two fought. You've been in the ring a couple of times. Is there anything new that he can show you in his game that you didn't already experience the first time, or are you still looking at this like this is the first time I'm facing him and I still have to be just as careful as I was the first time?
for sure. You know, I feel like I just feel like he has to be more aggressive. You know, he has to come and try and, you know, take my head off early. You know, if he tries to sit back and box, I'll start picking him off like I did the first fight. But you know, I just see him being more aggressive. You know, he's still an old bull, bro. He's still like a dangerous fighter. You know, he's still world class. He's been up the top for such a long time. You know, he's one of the best cruiserweights of this decade. You know, I honestly believe he had that one loss to on split decision against Usyk, and then you know before me, and now he's fighting me again. But he knows what he's doing. He's got good ring IQ. He's a great fighter. I'm treating this like I am training for the best version of Briedis. I'm not in any way thinking this is going to be an easy fight, or you know he's gonna you know he hasn't had 2 years off and blah blah blah. Mate, he's gonna come to win this fight, and I'm training for 12 rounds of war.
And I can agree, and yeah, I appreciate obviously that mentality. And it must to you almost think to yourself, all right, I'm proving myself against these guys. I'm going through the fire, like I'm a fighter, it's what I do. But is there ever something in your mind that says to you, I can go through these deep waters, but I don't want to have to keep going through these deep waters. Like I don't want every fight to be you know, an all out war and carnage. Like does anything like that ever go through your mind, or is it just, you know what, each day as it comes?
Hey, each day as it comes, you know, like tomorrow I wake up fucking straight in the gym, and I just keep doing that till this fight comes, and then we go to this fight fully prepared, ticked every box, and then whoever they put in next is who I got to beat. Like there's no blueprint of what is happening next, or you know what I mean. We just train hard every day, and whoever we have to beat in the ring, that's who we got to beat.
Okay. Last couple from me, and then I'll let you go again. Appreciate your time. Um, so obviously on that card, main event is Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. And obviously you spent a little bit of time in the ring with Fury doing the sparring. You know a lot of Usyk, you know, from being in the same division for a period of time also. How do you kind of see that fight playing out? Who would you sort of edge to win it?
Um, Man, I've said this. I've been talking about this fight. There's so many interviews, but man, I feel like they're both great fighters. You know, I feel like they've both got the tools to win. Honestly, I feel like it's going to come down to who executes their game plan the best on the fight day. You know, because they literally both can win the fight. I feel. Um, you know, if Tyson Fury uses his range, keeps moving, like he he's good. You know, like he's a good fighter. He's had some performances that aren't sort of his best and stuff like that. But that's where Usyk comes. Like he's always on. You know, like he's always on. So you know, I'm excited for this fight. I feel like it's going to be a great chess match, and especially for heavyweight boxing. You know what I mean? I don't feel like these guys are going out looking to knock each other out. I feel like it's two big fellas going to have a great chess match, and there's going to be a lot of punches thrown. Um, I honestly feel like whoever throws the most punches is going to win. You know what I mean? Like, because, well, that's pretty obvious, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to come down to who's prepped the best and who's willing to, you know, higher work rate, keep capitalizing on the mistakes, keep feinting and heaps of feints and shit like that. Because they're both got, you know, what, 6'9" lead hand against the what is he 6'3", 6'2" lead hand, and it's gonna be a very active fight.
Okay, okay. And 2 weeks after that, we've got the undisputed at light heavyweight. Now, I know that there's been some talks. There was some talks initially about possibly you and Dimitri Bivol in the future. Now, while I don't want to ask you about that because laser focus preparation on who you're fighting next, what I do want to ask is both of those guys. Bivol and Better Beef, both amazing. You know, both undefeated, going for undisputed at 175. There is potential that one or both may move up to cruiserweight at some point, but while you're still there. So it's a bit of a two-part question. The first part is, who do you sort of think, in your opinion, wins that fight? And then the second part of the question is, like, if you could pick personally, who would you like to face out of those two if it ever happened in the future?
Well, obviously, I'd like to fight the winner, but that's another great fight. Like that's a just a like Bivol being such a good boxer and how do you say his name? The
Better Beef.
Better Beef. Oh, him like it's crazy. Like his style. You just think like you look at him and you're like, fuck, he's so like just hit him. Like you know what I mean? Like yeah, how's he so strong? Like the way he's creeping in, he looks like he's easy to hit, but no one hits him. So he's got such a sort of unique style, but it's a respectable style. Um, and Bivol, I'm honestly like I like Bivol's style. I like the way he boxes. I like the way he keeps moving. Um, Man, that's a great fight. It's got that. It's a perfect sort of that walk forward fighter against that guy that keeps moving and getting angles and throwing hundred punches. So that's another great fight that I really want to watch. But respectfully to both of them, I would love to fight that. I actually got a phone call off the Sheik. He asked me to. He asked if I could make 175 pounds, and I just was like, bro, there's no way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm man, if I could make that weight, I'd make it. You know what I mean? Just to be a part of such a. I feel like if I was to fight one of those fighters, I grew up watching boxing. I grew up watching those. I got respect for those fighters that you got to get like a coach would show to their fighter and go, oh, see how he does this, see how he boxes like this. I feel like that's a great fighter. You know what I mean? And I feel like if I was to fight one of those fighters, that's what kind of fight it would be like. You know what I mean? Like a chess match like that. So to be able to be a part of one of those fights that people watch back over and over again to learn and stuff like that, that's a goal of mine. You know what I mean? So I would love to fight him in that sense, but there's no way I'm making 135 pounds.
No, I guess definitely if it ever happens, they've got to come up. No, that's totally fine. Last one from me. And first of all, I want to give a lot of credit to like your team. Mick especially does an amazing job over there with Tasman Fighters. But obviously, you've done the co-promotional deal with Matchroom since summer last year. I just want to find out how have you sort of found the experience of obviously, I guess with the activity, the fights, being in these Saudi cards and on these platforms now, with sort of Matchroom co-promoting you along with Tasman. How has that whole experience been for you since last year?
Oh, it's been real good. We've it's just been leveling up. You know what I mean? Like for myself and Tasman fighters, we're rubbing shoulders with the best in the business. So, we're just soaking it up. We're learning on the way, and and it's important to sort of build pathways as well for the other Australian fighters. Like to having the zone and stuff come to Australia, and they didn't have that stuff when I was coming through the ranks. You know what I mean? Like it's good to be a part of that change in Australian boxing. So it's something I'm proud of, and I hope it just keeps progressing, keeps moving forward. Like as long as everyone does their job, stays in their lanes, man, we can just keep on keeping on.
And is the goal still to have a very big event back in Australia with yourself, world champion, defending those belts and benefiting that domestic market?
Definitely. I would love to fight in Gosford Stadium still, take a fight to my hometown. That's something I've always wanted to do as a kid. Um, and it's possible, all I got to do is keep winning. I feel like the rest will just fall into place. I'll do my job, and then, you know, these promoters will do theirs, hopefully.
I hear that. I hear that. Listen, Jack, thank you very much for your time. As always, it's appreciated. Best of luck for the 18th of May, and no doubt we will speak again either before then or after then. But yeah, so always respect, and it's
Thank
appreciated.
you, bro. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. there's very few boxers that I've spoken to where you can always feel that passion and that undercurrent of maybe rage and desire than when I speak to Jai Opetaia. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but hey, that was my past profession, so you know. But yeah, look, it's always a pleasure talking to Jai, and he's one of the people I feel like whenever I chat to him, I'm not getting rehearsed and scripted answers. It always just feels very raw and authentic, and I hope that comes across to you guys. But look, I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, all I can say is best of luck on the 18th of May. But yeah, with that being said, that's another Base Talks done, and hopefully we will get some more in the future. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.